On Daf 17 of Pesachim, we get a series of discussions that I think really reflect on the way the Talmudic mind works. It's kind of a typical thing. So what happens exactly? We have an instance where there's one rabbi who's got multiple opinions that appear to contradict. So somebody from a later generation says, you know what, it must be that he retracted. He said this one statement, and then later he realized, no, I was wrong, this other position was right, and then he retracted by issuing this other statement. And then a second rabbi, also from the later generation, says, whoa, not necessarily. We can read the two statements as being somewhat distinct and applying to different cases. Maybe, therefore, it wasn't actually a retraction, and he holds, thought A under this circumstance and thought B under this other circumstance. And what I find fascinating about this is really it's the way that the Talmud works. If you stop and you just read through the Talmud page after page, it sounds like there's a great discussion. If you didn't know better, you'd think it's a bunch of people, contemporaries, all living at the same time, all in dialogue with one another. And you say, this person says this person responds that, this person says this. But when you actually look at it chronologically, you say, no, what's happening is what we present as discussions between people are actually taking place over hundreds of years. And so somebody, makes a statement, and somebody generation later might be arguing with it. And when we have the first person responding, it's not that they're actually responding to person two. We're constructing a response, or we have something else in their statement that we're using as the response, or they're responding to somebody else who made that same point. We're trying to understand, no, this must be the way they saw it and the response they would have given. So because we're dealing with such a wide swath of time, we really don't have that ability to be having that big discussion of contemporaries, but we present it that way. And so you have to look a layer deeper into the Talmud and understand exactly how it works. And this is one of those strong instances where we're guessing a bit. We see something that doesn't fit, two opinions in this one, coming out of this one mouth. And so what are we doing? Well, one rabbi in a later generation says, okay, it must be that he made a statement and then realized his error and made a corrective statement. And the other one says, no, it must be that he was making a distinction between different cases, and really both opinions could be true under different circumstances. But it's really part of the fabric of the Talmud that we don't always know, that we really do have different generations all engaging in the same quest and understanding. And what we sometimes look upon as being a very simple conversation between opinions, when you look into it and say, what do you mean they're having this conversation back and forth? They lived 100 years apart. They couldn't be speaking to each other. You start to realize that there's a whole other layer to the Talmudic analysis.